There's new footage of Caitlin Clark going off on Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White after their loss to the Golden State Valkyries. We're going to show you that clip in a bit, but first you need to understand exactly what pushed her there. Because this didn't start with the blowout loss. It started with a knee to the quad in the second quarter that no ref called, and it ended with Clark playing hurt for the rest of the night while her own coach stayed silent, never defending her case. If White doesn't change how she handles this, it stops being a coaching debate. It turns into a conversation about whether Clark still has a future in Indiana at all. So the question hangs over this whole franchise now. Does Indiana still build around Clark, or does this game become the exact night she will decide to walk away? Let me know down in the comments below.
Like, look at this. She made contact first and then hits her knee in Caitlin Clark's thigh, and Caitlin Clark goes down.
Second quarter, Caitlin Clark drives to the rim, and Kaya Stokes meets her with a knee right into the quad. Clark goes down, grabs her leg, and looks up at the official standing right there. Nothing. No whistle, no stoppage. Play just keeps rolling like nothing happened. She's on the floor for a second, and you can see her searching the ref's face for some kind of explanation, and she gets absolutely nothing back.
Not give up a three.
Clark still looking for her first points. Clark gets by Burton and gets to the rim. Up there was a foul as well, but there's Caitlin Clark's first scoring of the night.
And she comes up limping.
She's a little slow on her way back. Caitlin Clark. Where he's unable to take advantage of a 5-on-4 opportunity, a brief one albeit. Stokes his third three of the first half. They've all missed. Burton with the rebound, and it's a third on Boston.
Now you call that foul, and you don't call the one on the other end.
If you look at it in slow motion, during the same play, Clark got grabbed by the primary defender she blew by, got kneed by Stokes in the quad, and then got clipped on the foot while she landed. 3 fouls in one play. This isn't your average missed foul call. A blown call on a jump shot, you shrug it off and move to the next possession. But a knee to the quad that doesn't get called turns into a contusion, and that contusion doesn't go away when the quarter ends. Clark had to play through that injury for the rest of the game. Every cut, every drive, every push off that leg now running through pain that never needed to happen if the whistle just blows once.
First play of the game, Caitlin Clark, they reach all the way across her body. That's a reach-in foul. That's how they play Caitlin Clark every possession.
And it's not like this was the only missed call of the night either. Golden State got away with shoving under the basket, arm bars away from the ball, contact that would have drawn a foul in most other buildings against most other teams. Play after play, the Valkyries put hands on Fever players and the refs let it slide, and it started to look less like inconsistency and more like a pattern.
Look at this. So remember this, Lexi Hall doesn't get the foul called. Look at this. You can see that left arm by the defender on Lexi Hall. And watch this. With the game on the line, Lexi Hall gets called for the same exact foul. It's the same exact play.
Here's the part that makes it worse. Golden State shot 33% from 3 that night. Indiana actually shot better, 36% from deep. But the Valkyries still controlled the game, mostly because Indiana turned the ball over 16 times, and every whistle that could have gone Indiana's way just didn't. Clark tried to fight through it in the third quarter. She found a stretch where the rhythm came back, a few drives, a couple of good looks. You could see her trying to play like the leg wasn't bothering her. But it caught back up to her fast, and by the middle of the quarter you could see the burst missing. The first step just a little slower than it needs to be for her to get by defenders the way she normally does.
Look at that pass to Monique Billings, and Monique Billings finishes it. So this is the third quarter when they actually let Caitlin Clark play in the game. Mid-range, and we're right in this ball game. Kelsey Mitchell missed the layup. Look at this pass by Caitlin Clark to Aaliyah Boston. That was sick.
Meanwhile, the officiating crew stayed dead silent on the whole thing. No warning issued to Golden State, no extra eyes on the contact after Clark went down, nothing that suggested the league even noticed what happened. Fans have been asking this question all season. Clark takes more contact than almost anybody else in the league. and somehow gets the least protection out of anybody wearing a jersey. And not even a peep from her own coach, Stephanie White. Because burst and balance are Clark's whole game. Take away the explosiveness on her first step, and you take away the space she needs to get her shot off, to find driving lanes, to do the stuff that makes her Caitlin Clark in the first place. And this was just the first crack. The night was about to get a lot worse for her.
And Clark is very upset. Gerda Gatling is giving Caitlin Clark a very long leash on the way she's reacting, and sometimes you just gotta let the player voice their opinion.
Now look at this. Clark walking off the floor, and she is not calm, not even a little bit. Her arms are moving, her face is right up near the official, and everything about her body language says she's done holding this in. This is the moment that ends up defining the entire game against Golden State. Here's how it gets there. Clark fights through the quad injury during the next play, and instead of just jogging to the bench like normal after play stops, she turns around and lets the referee hear exactly what she thinks happened on that last play. Her arms are flailing. She's pointing back at the spot on the floor where the contact happened, and her face is inches from his. This isn't a one-word complaint either. This is every no call from the second quarter on, coming out all at once, right in front of him.
WNBA Fever, let's go.
So the camera does what cameras do in that spot. It cuts to the Fever bench looking for Stephanie White. You expect the coach to be right there, stepping toward the officials, backing up her franchise player, demanding somebody explain the call. That's the moment you wait for, and it doesn't come. White is standing there with her arms crossed, saying nothing to the officials, showing no visible push on Clark's behalf at all. No pointing, no arguing, no walking down the sideline to get in on it. Just standing there watching her franchise player fight alone.
WNBA Fever, Lexi Hall, and Jai Harris. Back at for Golden State, number 24. Zendela. WNBA 25, more guards.
Compare that to what coaches usually do in that exact spot. Most coaches get right in the official's face, demand an explanation, make sure the complaint is on record for the next possession and the next game. That's the whole point of a coach standing up for a player like that. It tells the referees somebody's watching, and it tells the player somebody's got her back. Fans watching live picked up on it instantly. Clark's out there fighting the Valkyries and the whistle at the same time, and her own coach isn't even trying to help her plead the case. White's post-game comments didn't do much to change that read either. Asked about the no call, she said, "They said Caitlin initiated the contact," and then added with a wry smile, "She seems to always be initiating the contact." She followed it up with, "I'm trying to not get fined." Again, all I'll say is we just keep asking for consistency. That's the whole response. No defense of her player in the moment, and a joke about it after the fact.
She seems to always be initiating the contact.
You mentioned Caitlin always seems to initiate the contact. Just what did you see in the officiating overall tonight, or just in general?
Chloe, I'm trying to not get fined.
Third quarter, Indiana starts clawing its way back into this game. The crowd's getting loud, Fever are trimming the lead possession by possession, and you can feel Gainbridge Fieldhouse waking up. And then Clark just disappears from the floor. Here's where the minutes restriction comes back into the story. Clark got capped around 26 minutes total on the night, even after saying publicly she felt fine and wanted to play through the leg. She's out there telling everybody she's good to go, and she still watches a big chunk of the fourth quarter from the bench.
So a few things that I noticed, Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston playing 25 minutes out of the 40. And with 3 minutes left in the third when Caitlin Clark went to the bench, it was a 44-42 game. we can easily beat this team, and this is one of the best teams in the league.
But it's not just her. Aaliyah Boston gets pulled at the exact same stretch. So now both of Indiana's best two-way weapons are sitting during the one part of the game that actually decides anything. Two players who can guard, rebound, and create, both parked on the bench at the same time during the exact stretch where the game's hanging in the balance.
And in the game, in that closing stretch here.
And it could be something simple that we don't know. Obviously, we're not on the bench. We're not in the head of Stephanie White. It could be something that Timpson is giving them a look that Stephanie White likes right now and wants to keep going with.
And you see Coach White bringing in more sub to take some of these players out. You said it about game 44. I think you really have to conserve energy. Both Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston this time.
And the comeback stalls the second it happens. You can watch the momentum drain right out of the building, possession by possession, the second Clark and Boston sit down together. The building goes quiet, the defense loosens up, and Golden State starts answering every Indiana run before it even builds. Now compare that to Kelsey Mitchell, who logs 35 minutes and finishes with 20 points. A good chunk of those points come after the game's already decided, deep in the fourth quarter when Golden State's already pulled away again.
Another thing I noticed is Kelsey Mitchell started off the game. The ball went right through her hands, went out of bounds. She got her shot blocked. She made one, but then she airballed. She gets to stay in the game. She gets to find her momentum, find her game, and then she starts lighting up the other team. When Caitlin Clark misses a few shots, she gets pulled right away and doesn't have a chance to do that. And that's what I noticed a lot in this game.
That's where the stat padding accusation starts floating around from fans and pundits. Why is Mitchell getting extended run in garbage time while Clark and Boston, the two players who actually give Indiana a chance to win, are stuck on the bench? It doesn't add up if the goal is winning the game in front of you. Golden State, on the other hand, stays composed the whole night. Natalie Nakasi has her team playing disciplined basketball, and they don't panic. They don't get sloppy. They just wait for Indiana's rotation to create the opening. And it does, right on schedule. Look, a minutes restriction makes sense early in a comeback from injury. Nobody's arguing that part. But it stops making sense the moment it costs the team the actual game in front of them. Because at that point, you're not protecting a player anymore. You're handing points to the other team. This is the exact benching decision fans keep pointing to when they say Clark's frustration stopped being about officiating and became about coaching. The refs missing a knee to the quad is one problem. Getting pulled during your own team's comeback, while you're saying you feel fine, is a completely different problem, and it's one that sits on Stephanie White's desk. And even with 26 minutes, a bad whistle, and a leg that never got the whistle it deserved, Clark still put a stat line on the board that's going to make this benching look even worse.
Now we got Stephanie White subbing Caitlin Clark out. Boom, Caitlin Clark smashes the announce table. She's pissed. She's pissed that she continues to get subbed out because she doesn't agree with the minutes restriction, yet she's lied to herself to where she needs to agree with the minutes restriction. And we're now reaching our breaking point. We're now frustrated because I continue to get lied to by everybody around me. I continue to go along with it, and deep down, I know it's not the right thing to do, but I'm playing ball the best way I can. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm getting pissed.
Here the footage everybody's been waiting for. Clark gets pulled for the final time, and what happens next is the clearest look yet at where her head's at with this team. Clark is walking off the floor. The knee injury from the second quarter, the missed calls piling up all night, the benching during the exact stretch Indiana was clawing back into the game. All of it sitting on her shoulders as she heads toward the sideline. And she's not hiding any of it this time. The footage shows Clark slamming her hand down on the scorer's table as she walks by. Not a tap, not a brush past it, an actual slam, loud enough that you can see people at the table react to it. That's not frustration leaking out a little at a time anymore. That's everything from the whole night coming out in one motion. Then comes the part that says even more. Clark walks right past Stephanie White on her way to the bench, and there's no eye contact, no nod, no word exchanged between them at all. She just walks by like her coach isn't even standing there.
Boom, smashes the announce table. Stephanie White goes to give her a dap. Caitlin Clark doesn't even want to dap her up. Caitlin Clark doesn't even want to dap up this coach. Caitlin Clark can't even look this coach in her eye. Can't even look Stephanie White in her eye. Again, Caitlin, stop lying to yourself. You don't like this coach. The coach doesn't like you. Stop lying to yourself.
Compare that to how this normally goes. Most nights, Clark comes off the floor and she's locked in with White immediately, talking through what the defense just did, pointing at something on the sideline clipboard, working out the next wrinkle together. That back and forth is usually instant. This time there's nothing, just silence and a straight line to the bench chair. Her post-game comments about the no-call fill in the rest of it. Clark described the knee to the quad plainly, calling it a missed call that changed the way she had to play for the rest of the game. No dramatics in how she said it, just laying out the fact that one whistle the refs didn't blow ended up shaping her whole night.
Caitlin, can you take me through that second quarter play with Stokes that made you upset and then you hopped into the back?
Like that hurts. Like the ref can't miss that, and then I have to play with a contusion in my leg the rest of the game. Like it's ridiculous. Can't miss calls like that.
Did they give you an explanation right after when you?
She said I initiated the contact, which is fine. You can't knee me in the leg, knock me over.
On the minutes restriction, her tone said as much as her words did. She'd already made clear before the game she felt fine and wanted to play through whatever soreness was left over, and getting pulled anyway during the exact stretch Indiana was making its move didn't sit well with her at all. You can hear it in how short her answers get when that topic comes up. Now people are asking the real question, whether Stephanie White is starting to lose the locker room over decisions like this one. A coach who won't defend her franchise player to the refs and won't manage her minutes with any trust is a coach who's going to hear her name in trade rumors involving her own star.
And I had some good looks that didn't go down, and then, I shot some tougher looks too, but, I thought I finally kind of played with a little bit more pace and a little bit more burst, especially down the stretch in the fourth, but hopefully I don't have to keep playing 25 minutes.
Well, speaking of that, as far as the contusion goes, it seems like
we'll just rub it out. She's fine. Yeah. Good old knuckles on it and call it a day.
On the other end of the floor.
Because that's where this is heading now. Fans are already pointing to this exact night, the knee, the benching, the walk past White, as the moment people look back on when Clark decides she's had enough of Indiana. The table slam and the cold shoulder aren't just frustration anymore. They're proof Clark isn't going to sit quiet through this again. So what did Clark actually do with the minutes she got, hurt leg and all, stop-start rotation and all? The box score answers that better than any argument could. Her final line reads 13 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 turnovers. Run that back through everything she played through that night. A quad that never got a whistle, a coach who benched her during the exact stretch Indiana was clawing back into the game, and 13-6 starts looking a lot better than it does on paper alone. That's a near double-double type of impact squeezed into a night where she barely got the floor time to build any real rhythm. Aaliyah Boston's line tells its own story too. 15 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 blocks. That's a complete two-way performance, scoring, rebounding, and locking things down on defense all in the same night. And she got that shortened right at the moment Indiana needed her most on the floor.
Here are these half-court situations where the Valkyries are just so good, but Cunningham cannot miss!
Then there's Sophie Cunningham, who comes off the bench and drops 10 points with 4 steals. That's exactly the kind of energy this roster's got sitting there when the door actually opens for it. Cunningham doesn't need a green light handed to her. She just plays fast and physical the second she checks in, and it shows up right there on the stat sheet.
6 for 7 from distance game in the Fever's win against Las Vegas. Timpson down low, great patience.
miscommunication there in transition. A rare fast break bucket for the Fever.
Natalie Nakase wants a timeout as Golden State with a 1-point lead. Ruth.
The Fever trying to get something.
None of this reads like a team that's short on talent. It reads like a team that's not being put in position to use the talent it already has. The players show up and produce even when the system around them keeps pulling the rug out from under their rhythm. And that's about as clear a sign as you can get that the problem sits with deployment, not personnel. Lexi Hull and the rest of Indiana's bench add more depth behind all of this too. Indiana's got the pieces to make real noise in this league if those minutes get handled with some trust instead of constant caution. Now imagine this same roster with Clark playing free-flowing basketball, no in-and-out rotation, no minutes cap fighting against her rhythm the whole night. You're probably looking at a different final score against Golden State, maybe a different result altogether.
Clark works out the Boston screen. Goes to her on the roll, left wide open, lays it up and in.
The unique point you go to your all-stars, and right there, the two-man action between Clark and Boston gets them.
And that's exactly where the frustration sits for fans watching this thing unfold. Nobody's mad about the talent on this roster, because the talent clearly shows up every single night. What's mad-worthy is watching a winnable game slip away because of substitution patterns, not because Indiana couldn't compete with Golden State on paper. The stat line makes the case all on its own. Clark and her teammates are ready to play more, ready to play free, and the only thing standing between this roster and real wins is the coaching staff's own rotation choices. And what happens right after Clark gets pulled for good, that's the part of the footage nobody's stopped talking about since it surfaced. July 15th wasn't just a loss to Golden State. It was the night Clark figured out her own organization stopped backing her up, from the ref who ignored a knee to her quad, to the coach who stood there with her arms crossed. If White doesn't change how she handles this, it stops being a coaching debate. It turns into a conversation about whether Clark still has a future in Indiana at all. So the question hangs over this whole franchise now. Does Indiana still build around Clark? Or does this game become the exact night she will decide to walk away? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we're bringing you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.